WLYH TV, this is Action News Tonight, your best source for news, sports, and weather in the Susquehanna Valley. Now, for Action News, here's Cliff Eschbach.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, November 20th. In the news, Lebanon food bank leaders continue to add up donations. And it's a Florida landing for the Space Shuttle Atlantis. But the big story on Action News tonight is closed-door dealing in London. The fight for leadership of Britain's Conservative Party will go to a second vote. Richard Blystone reports on today's developments.
In Paris for the security conference, Margaret Thatcher tried to put the best face on it and wasted no time saying she'll fight on.
Naturally, I'm very pleased that I got more than half the parliamentary party and disappointed that it's not quite enough to win on the first ballot.
4 more votes for the Prime Minister, and Michael Heseltine would have lost the bid he's been brewing since he walked out of her cabinet 4 years ago. But close as it was, it had to be a bitter and humiliating experience for a leader who swept 3 elections and enjoyed as much as a 100-seat margin in the British Parliament. The Iron Lady, whose single-mindedness and strength of personality carried all before her, while the style that went with it was making enemies right and left. Voting day saw Mrs. Thatcher, the ultimate cold warrior, conferring about the Gulf with Mikhail Gorbachev, another leader who wishes he could translate his international prestige into popularity back home. However next week's contest turns out, expect no change in Britain's commitment to the Allied forces in the Gulf. Heseltine, an ex-defense minister, says he wouldn't change it, nor would John Major, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, whose name could also appear on the ballot next Tuesday. He says he won't run, but a week's a long time in politics. Nor the Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd, also mentioned as a possible unity candidate, although he said,
the Prime Minister continues to have my full support. And I'm sorry that this destructive, unnecessary contest should be prolonged in this way.
Tuesday night, Parliament buzzed with speculation about what ballot combination would help or hurt Mrs. Thatcher's chances and what might heal a deeply divided party.
And the result is very damaging because, of course, it prolongs the uncertainty.
Pollster and political analyst Robert Worcester.
I think she's been so badly wounded that she cannot recover and go on to win a general election. So if she's not defeated in this current round, I suspect that she will be retiring within the next few months.
The woman who swallowed her disappointment and went off to the opera Tuesday night has transformed a largely socialist country dominated by labor unions into a free enterprise zone with fewer bureaucrats and more homeowners and small-time capitalists. Next week, Mrs. Thatcher would need only a simple majority to win, and instinctively she chose right away to fight on. But there are many influential friends in her party who would have counseled, and probably will be, that the way to serve her cause best now is to let go gracefully.
Germans who still have relatives in Iraq or occupied Kuwait will soon be reunited with their loved ones. The Iraqi parliament voted today to release the remaining German hostages. They number about 124. The vote came after a request for their release by Iraqi President Saddam Hussein. The Speaker of Iraq's parliament did not say when the Germans would be released. In this country, the Space Shuttle Atlantis and its 5 astronauts are home from their secret military mission. The shuttle glided to a perfect landing at Florida's Kennedy Space Center this afternoon. It's the first time in 5 years that a shuttle landed at the Florida Center. The landing was diverted from Edwards Air Force Base because of problems with the weather out in California. The last-minute change in landing site saves NASA about $1 million and a week's time in processing the shuttle because it won't have to fly the space plane across the country. Time to take a look at the weather, and a chilly night, but a real clear one.
It is. It's a very nice night, and it's actually going to get warmer this week as we move closer to Thanksgiving Day with a high temperature of around 65 degrees coming up for Thursday. And right now we have clear skies and temperatures are just above freezing with our high today 52, and it looks as though we'll stay above 33 by the time this day is all said and done. It could be a kind of a cool overnight, but as you see, rather humid, and no rain to tell you about here for Tuesday and none for Wednesday either. Right now, temperatures from the immediate area with, again, clear skies, 37 in Reading, is warmest in New York at 40 degrees. And outside of here, south central Pennsylvania, we're looking at 31, already a little below freezing in Bradford, and just above it in Erie, 34, warmest in Philadelphia and Scranton with partly cloudy skies and 41 degrees. And here in the northeast, chilly just to our north, but pleasant and clear here in the northeast. And then for tomorrow, looking at more of the same, and as you can see, rain headed this direction, and just in time for the latter part of Thanksgiving Day, and then for the early part of Friday coming up. As you can see the picture here for Thursday, rain moving this direction, and again, we're expecting to get the majority of the showers late afternoon, early evening, more into the evening, and then the early part of Friday, and then Friday later in the day looks like it could be pretty nice, but again, some showers to wake up to for that shopping on Friday morning. Here's what the forecast looks like for tonight: clear and 32 degrees, and then another sunny one, and another warm one tomorrow with a high of just shy of 60 degrees. Tomorrow night, clear and 42, and again, Thanksgiving looks good with any of that rain coming late in the day, 65 and a pleasant daytime. Then at night, some showers, and some more on Friday, particularly morning and maybe in the early afternoon. For Saturday, cooler and overcast at 45. There'll be snow, flurries in the north on Saturday, and then Sunday, sunshine, 45 degrees. Could see the northern part of the state, maybe the first significant snowfall, an inch, inch and a half, something like that, but that's pretty significant for this time of year. Coming up on Saturday, again, for some of the hunting camps and what have you up to the north, they could get some white stuff.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. And coming up on Action News, counting the donations at the food bank in Lebanon County. The South Carolina man accused of killing 2 hikers on the Appalachian Trail waived his preliminary hearing today. Perry County District Attorney James Moyer says Paul David Cruz will be arraigned next month. Cruz is charged in the September 13th deaths of Molly LaRue and Jeffrey Hood. They were killed along the Appalachian Trail about 25 miles north of Harrisburg. The suspect is also wanted for homicide charges in Florida. He's been on Florida's most wanted list for 4 years. In Lebanon County, ground was broken today for a major business expansion. County dignitaries and representatives of the Gell Company broke ground for the company's new facility located in South Lebanon Township. County officials hope that Gell will be the first of several new businesses to locate in the area that has been set aside.
On the surface, we're talking an increase in employment. We're talking another 150-plus jobs. We're also talking considerable investments, so a major improvement of the tax base. Beyond the surface, Leland, there's also the fact that we've retained some jobs. If we hadn't been able to put this project together, we would have lost 50 to 60 important jobs in the Myerstown area.
Gell Company officials say they did look into other possible sites for building, but they said they wanted to stay in Lebanon County because of the workforce. Across the Susquehanna Valley, work has been going on to make sure hungry people have enough to eat, not just at Thanksgiving, but throughout the year. Action News reporter Leland Perry has this story on these efforts in Lebanon County.
Workers helping needy families at Lebanon County's food bank. It's a familiar sight, but with cutbacks by the federal government the last couple of years, the food bank relies heavily on donations from the community. This is what 72,000 pounds of food looks like. This is how much was collected by the county Boy Scouts for the needy of Lebanon County. It's the most ever collected since they've been doing this the past 3 years. To give you some perspective, all this food is worth about $150,000.
Last year we serviced over 10,000 families. Of course, they're counted each time they come into the food banks, so I would guess maybe 6,000 families.
We had 50 scouting units involved again this year, and probably somewhere around 1,500 boys and adult leaders were involved in one or both days. And it's a great opportunity for us to do a good turn.
Yates says he's extremely pleased with the local effort. More was collected in Lebanon County than in Philadelphia.
It used to surprise me. It doesn't anymore because we see the constant need every day come through our doors. We're the agency that handles the food for the other agencies such as Salvation Army, Red Cross, Children and Youth.
It will take several months to sort and distribute this food, but Wallace says it will all be given to those who really need it.
But when you consider putting out nearly 40,000 bags, and we probably missed less than 1/10 of 1% of those, so it's a good response.